Hey, what's going on? Coin Out TV subscribers, Robert Welkney here. Want to do another Shaw Brothers classic movie review. This time it is Marco Polo, which was included in the Eureka release of, it's a 4-movie collection. It's called Horrible History. Kind of a weird title, kind of a weird cover, but it had Marco Polo, the Pirate, Boxer Rebellion, and 4 writers. So I'm kicking things off with this collection with Marco Polo. I'm going to give some spoilers. I'm going to talk about the movie in general and give some of my thoughts and my letter grade at the end. So Marco Polo, 1975, directed by legendary Hong Kong cinema director Chang Cheh. I watched this on the Eureka Blu-ray, picture and sound, all looked great. It's nice to have this remastered and in my collection. So let's start off with the IMDb synopsis. After a failed assassination attempt on the Mongol emperor, 4 martial artists trained to learn advanced kung fu techniques in order to kill the Khan and avenge their fallen comrades, and Marco Polo sent by the emperor to kill them. Pretty good synopsis there, kind of summarizing the movie. I'd give it a thumbs up. Let's just say this movie is packed with Shaw Brothers all-stars. It's like the Avengers cast all in this one movie, and it's been a long time since I've seen this. I mean, this is something I used to watch on Saturday afternoon, martial arts cinema, kung fu cinema when I lived in New York City back in the day, and I forgot how many recognizable people or talented martial artists are in this. Let's go down the list here. I have Alexander Fu Sheng, Richard Harrison, which is the non-Asian actor in this movie, Beardy, Johnny Wang, Gordon Liu, Carter Wong, who's not in a lot of Shaw Brothers movies. Shout outs to Carter Wong, Phillip Kwok, who this is like an early Phillip Kwok movie, female actress Shih Szu, which should have been a huge star, but kind of didn't. I guess she has a big library, and she's in a lot of these Shaw Brothers movies, so that's great. Yang Sang, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. Muscular dude, you've seen him in a lot of Shaw Brothers movies. And Kuan-chun, who's like a journeyman Shaw Brothers movie, kind of comes and goes. You recognize his face. So I wrote down here in my notes, it's a common storyline. The rebels against the military, classic Shaw Brothers tropes, with the common man being the common man, and I put that in quotes, being outnumbered and outclassed at the start, but eventually learning to overcome the odds through hard working and training. It's there. It's got a great cast. It's got that simple plot that I fall for these Shaw Brothers Chang Cheh movies. It's got a lot of action. Back to my notes here. It said, I wrote down, excellent first act with tons of action and setup to the story. Unfortunately, the middle act drags a bit with the training sequences. The training sequences should have been something more interesting. That felt like there was something missing. The old masters were kind of clever and funny, and I like what was happening, but I don't know, something was missing. A little faster editing, a little more comedy to them, a little more, a little something. Something was missing from the training sequences. So while I usually like Shaw Brothers movies that have awesome training sequences, the ones in this movie are like subpar. They're not like amazing. They kind of like drag on a bit, and maybe it's just the way like the middle act is kind of intercut with the Richard Harrison kind of passing through and watching and observing, and then later on kind of sneaking through. I don't know, somehow he gets like a pass where he can just kind of like sneak through the stronghold and check things out. But the finale, the good news is the finale, it is great, all out action. Each martial artist here almost appears to have like superpowers and super moves. I feel like I was watching the Avengers or something, or the Defenders or X-Men. It was great to see like the super souped up martial artists going against each other. Alexander Fu Sheng and Beardy with their iron palm technique. We had the two characters with like the golden skin, Kuan-chun going up against Gordon Liu, who has swords. Phillip Kwok learns how to jump out of, I think it's mud, or maybe it's fertilizer or poo or something. I never really figured out what these puddles were he was jumping out, but he learns to like jump around. So when he's facing up against Johnny Wang, who uses kind of this wrestling technique and backbreaker moves, he's able to sort of evade him. all that I love. The first act, the final act, great. My complaints with this is pretty much the middle act that drags a little bit. Again, the old masters are interesting and funny. The training sequences could have been amped up a little bit. Phillip Kwok's training sequences, I think, are kind of the standout, where he really shines and shows his acrobatic skill, which you expect from Phillip Kwok. I mean, this is early Phillip Kwok stuff. So ultimately, Richard Harrison as Marco Polo is the weakest link. We're still saying that? Is that a thing people saying? Who is the weakest link? He shows off zero, and I say zero with a capital Z, dynamic range in his acting. I mean, granted, he's a fish out of water in this movie, probably doesn't understand anything but he's saying, so he's just kind of like looking right, looking left, holding a sword, moving, walking. He probably had no idea what was going on. This was just like, you know what? Pay me, I'm gonna show up. Of course, Harrison has no martial arts ability, so there's none of that to sort of expect. He's the fish out of water observer, although, you know, as his character, Marco Polo, it is interesting to sort of see how he is kind of visualizing or witnessing kind of the Hong Kong culture, Asian culture, and how it kind of changes his views a little bit as the story progresses. So it's worth a watch and a rewatch. It's got a great cast, great choreography, great cinematography. I'm gonna give Marco Polo a B+. It would be higher up the ladder if that middle act was stronger. Good job, Eureka, putting this out on a collection. I have seen Boxer Rebellion, and I remember that being a fun one. I have not seen The Pirate or Four Riders, so eventually those will be first-time views. And these discs are loaded. I think there might be one or two commentaries on each of these movies. Maybe it's one commentary with is it Arna and Mike? Yes, Arna and Venema, Mike Leader commentaries, and there was like an interview with a martial arts expert on there that was worth checking out. So great collection. Looking forward to diving further into that. Let me know what your thoughts are on Marco Polo in the comments below. For Coin Up TV, we'll see you next time.